Day 11. Day 11. You know, I was talking to Aaron last night, getting ready for bed. I'm talking about how doing the lore like this year versus how I did it last year. Now, oh, good afternoon to Kaylee. Versus how I did it last year. Now, to be fair, last year was the first time I had ever like done something like this. Turned on like a camera facing me and filmed myself talking about stuff, right? So there was like a Ako Taco kind of thing going on in the beginning. Good morning, Heather. Of those first couple of videos, if anyone's gone back and watched last year's lore. Good morning, Jess. Good morning, Tracy. I found that it was shocking. It was shocking to turn on a camera and just like talk into what I felt was like the void. And it was difficult. And then now I do these, but it was fun, but it was like, it was effort. When I did, now I do these wool room diaries, right? Where I kind of sit here and we chat it up. I've done one on scouring, I've done one on carding, I did one on like, basically like the big questions I get asked in my DMs. And then I can kind of answer them group, you know? Good morning, Danielle. And those have actually been okay. Again, though, they take a lot of time and a lot of effort. So doing live was a test this year, coming on here and doing this, right? I loved the idea because I like doing lives on Instagram, but I really like the idea that YouTube saved the chat, because the chats, you know, especially on Instagram, those things go nuts because we'll have like 50 people in there, rowdy hand spitters, and it's really fun. And then I'm not just talking into the void; I'm talking to like you guys. Like, good morning, you're all filing in. So last night he was checking in with me like, how's this going for you? Because when I was first going to start doing this, I was like, ooh, 13 days. Do I do like, that means I'm committed. And I talked to two friends about it, Marina and Christopher. I'd been like, what do you guys think? Tell me if you think there's going to be bad ideas, because I do rely heavily on the advice of I like to bounce things off of friends, right? Am I missing any options here? Is there something I'm not thinking through? You let me know. And both of them were like, no, this is a good idea. So here we are, had my confirmation, doing my live. And then last night when Aaron was checking in on me, I'm like, this has actually been, like, I look forward to it, like every morning. It's not a challenge. It's not a trial. I don't feel like, oh, it's like dragging on or I have to get there on. Like, I'm excited. Like, I get up and I get ready because we're going to the live. We're going to go do the live and we're going to talk about the wool. And like, it's been so great. So opening this one up with like a just coffee cheers, my dears, to you guys for sitting here with me and being excited about the Advent too. And it's just, I'm just having so much fun. So thank you. Okay. Spinning today's wool while hearing about it has been glue for my mental well-being. Hey, glue. I like that term. It's been glue. Yes. I'm going to start using that. That's a good term. Okay. Also, before we get started, I have to show you guys something I got yesterday. Spectacular. Okay, you guys remember Sam? I told you about Sam who saved our butts in Manitoba and went to that fiber festival for me and got us the alpaca and got us the wool. Yesterday, I got a package from Sam. Oh, hold on. Online love, right? It's true. Danielle's just talking about sharing into the online community. Well, here's some online community. I'm about to share online, like epic online community, because Sam, the one that went to the fiber festival for me, we were unknown. Like I didn't know her until she answered my story about anyone going. Would you be willing to proxy shop for me, right? So anyway, she writes, two can play Canadian thank you standoff. And that's how her card opens. I won't read the whole card because we were talking about Canadian standoff, and she sent me this gift, but then she told me, don't stress. You know, she collected things kind of from around her house. Look at what she sent me. Look at this. I've opened the first couple days because I can catch up. This I'm actually being obedient to, which is funny because all my huge fiber and like yarn advents, I just ripped them open. But this one I was like, oh, and I've opened up the days to catch up last night, and each one is like a different tea with like a little sweet snack. You know, that was me. I was just like, what? Like, it's so special. It's so precious to me. This is what I got. I love it. Oh, and she sent me a box of Count Chocula because I'm 5, and we all know it. And I'm going to eat this standing over the counter today as I have my break, because I take breaks. Okay, this is what I got from Sam. So this is from the friend that rescued the Advent and went to the thingy for me. I was very, what? So speaking of wool community, isn't this, and tea and little tiny treats? There's like Airheads and like Lindt chocolate. I'm so excited. So anyway, I'm going to be drinking tea. I do drink like 17 cups of tea a day, so this is just excellent. Excellent, excellent. How spoiled am I? I am the most spoiled. Now I want to save this cool box. I want to save this thing. And like, oh, Dana, hey, you're here. I want to save this box now and do this for someone next year. Just the traveling box. I got to fill it full of weird crap that I find in the wool room. I got some weird stuff in here. Like random little like tiny fur pom-poms, and like I got these earrings that look like baby heads. I'm going to put baby head earrings. Busted Button made them, of course. They're earrings that look like baby heads. Okay, anyway, that's just like what I'm just opening this sucker up with gratitude because I'm loving doing these lives with you guys. We are nearing the end. There's 2 days after this, which is sad. Like, I'm actually sad about that. Like, I feel like it's when I say goodbye to the Stash Dashers. Although for that one, I am tired. This one, I'm not tired. This one, I wish there was a whole other Advent to open. This has been great. And then I get like presents, and someone yesterday bought a bat in my shop and then sent me an email saying, hey, Melly, if it's not too much extra work, could you send this to someone who would be cheered by it? Do you know anybody? I want to cover the cost in the shipping. Could you send it to them? What's going on? We love it. We love it. So it's just like, what? Isn't it just sparkly and great? Oh, God. Advent tea calendar thingies showing up in the mail, and like cereal, and people are paying for it on bats, and I got like, it's so cool. Okay. All right. Let's move on, because there's actually a cool alpaca that feeds into this. Where we're going to go. We're going to open the day. Hello. 'Tis I, Melly, and I have a small home-based business called MellyKnits, where I wash a lot of wool, and then I card it on, oh, homie, come here. We were using homie last night, and then I card it on these big machines, and then I turn it into bats like this, and I mail it out to hand spinners. That's what I do from a job. And sometimes people mail me boxes of cereal. Who can say that about their job? That's freaking sick. Okay, so as you've all just seen. So welcome to MellyKnits if you're new here. If you're just joining us for the first time, you have reached us on day 11 and of a 12-day delightful calendar, or a 13-day True North calendars. We've been opening these wools every day, and just the purpose of these videos, they do have a purpose, despite if you've been watching them and they seem a little like squirrel. The purpose of these videos is to just talk a little deeper about the wool that you're working with, because all of these wools are hand processed, meaning that I'm buying raw fleece from farms, animals with names and shepherds with stories and cool places and special care being taken, and everything's really, really unique. And then I wash them here, pick them open, card them, blah, blah, blah. So there's fun lore to talk about, because, or like even we've been talking about every day, I try and talk about what it was like to wash that fleece, if there was any notes about blending that fleece, or about just working through it and processing it, as there are some who join us who are fiber processors themselves, or maybe you're thinking about it, which I would be like, yes, you should. Yes, you should do it. You should do it. You should get some raw wool, and you should do it. If you've been on the fence, this is your message. This is your confirmation. Yes. It's just great. So that's what we're doing here. That's why we're here. And now we're going to open True North, because it's an odd day. Yes, we're going to open True North first, our Canadian calendar. tracking across all the provinces and territories, and today we hit our first territory. We're going to the Yukon. We're going to the Yukon. Okay, here we go. Day 11. It's so beautiful. I think that might be my favorite color that my sister dyed for the whole Advent. This burnt orange deal, burnt amber. Like, what the heck? That's my color. I could wear a whole everything in that. Knit myself just like a onesie. All right, Mr. Moose, day 11. Who do we have here? La la la. Oh, Inky. Inky. Look at what we have here. Oh, what? Okay, let's look. Let's investigate this babe. This absolute babe. You guys ready to look into this? All right, so there's our lock, but let's talk about the alpaca first. So the alpaca is from the Yukon. There is one alpaca farm in the Yukon. It is called Northern Spirit Alpaca Farm. And it is run by a woman named Sharon, and she is lovely. And in this wool today is Whiskers. Whiskers! Oh, that's the name of the alpaca. So Sharon was difficult to get a hold of. I was emailing intermittently, I want to say for months. She was hard to get a hold of. Busy lady. And so then but again, it's only the one farm. So it's not so I was a stalker. Sharon, if you ever see this, I admit, I know that I was a stalker, okay? So I was a stalker. And then when I wasn't having success in my stalking, I actually reached out to Britney from Crux Fibres, who lives in the Yukon. She's a indie dyer creator maker out of Whitehorse. And I was like, hey, and I don't want to be offensive, right? But because everyone in small towns just knows each other, but they kind of do. And so I was like, hey, do you know the alpaca lady? Obviously there's going to be more degrees of connection there because Brittany's fiber and this woman's alpaca and whatever. And so she was like, I don't really know her, but I have her cell. And so Brittany texted her like, hey, my friend's trying to get a hold of you. And then I got a response from Sharon. Yeah, I was big stalker energy. I was about to hop on a freaking airplane. I did say frickin', I'm not swearing on YouTube. About to hop on an airplane and jump up there and go get this stuff because there's just the one alpaca farm. There are, what did she tell me? 16 alpacas in the whole territory. That's it. That's all you get. Just that in the whole territory. So they're very precious and special, and the fiber's very precious and special. And the fact that we got a whole bunch of it from Whiskers, which is her, I don't want to say her prized guy, but kind of. So she told me the whole story about sort of the backstory of their farm and how they had this guy named Salazar who was, I think, I don't want to say the only male, I'm not sure, but there was a story there. And then Salazar got killed by a bear. And then they had to replace him because it was very integral, obviously, to the Yukon alpaca market. Anyway, so they ended up getting Whiskers, and Whiskers is now in there doing his thing. And he's very cute. I don't have a color printer. It's very lame. So here's what you get. And I don't know if there's a way to do assets on here like I can. I don't think so. Like I can on Instagram. I can add a photo and show you guys. I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe there's a way. He's the guy in the middle. That's Whiskers. Kind of liking this dude though. He looks like Billy Idol. I don't know why. Okay, that's our friend Whiskers. So, or is that our friend? No, that's our friend Whiskers. This guy's dark brown. This guy's jet black. So there's our sweetie Whiskers up there in the Yukon. Sharon also works at Inclusion Yukon. So she says it's an organization that supports individuals with neurodevelopment disabilities and their families. And she runs therapeutic programming at the farm for people with disabilities. And they have visitors from all ages, and they love coming and petting the alpacas. So cool, right? The lore I just love the lore. Like, for as much as I do also love and appreciate the fact that there were websites out there for True North that I could just go click, buy your alpaca. Oh, good. It's from that right province. Perfect. You know, like, yay, met the criteria. It's also cool when you have stories like this where and in the end, Sharon was so funny. She's like, I'm so sorry. I was so hard to get a hold of. But she's a busy lady. And I found that a lot in my hunt for True North, which again, we're going to talk about on day 13. But there was like, shepherds are busy folks, right? With big, busy lives, and they're caring for animals, and like there's a lot going on. So anyway, thank you, Sharon, for sharing this gorgeous alpaca with us. We can all experience and try whiskers. Now, let's talk about the wool in this babe. Okay, this is from New Brunswick. New Brunswick, fun fact, was the most difficult province for me to get wool from. I don't know. They have a mill there, right? Briggs and Little is there. And so I figured, hey, I bet there's going to be a lot of sheep because it's like by the, nope. It's actually like there's like no sheep. There's very little sheep from what I found out talking to people. I reached out to Liz from Good Fibrations. It's a yarn store in New Brunswick, and if you are in St. John, and if you aren't familiar, look them up because she does a lot of her own dyeing and she's really good. Like the way she dyes silk too, whew, love it. Love her hand-dyed Tessa silk. And they've always got these great deals and sales, and she finds cool stuff, and she'll be like, I just dug this out of the back. I'm gonna put it on the site for like $8. I'm like, what? So super cool if you haven't seen Good Fibrations. But I did reach out to Liz because I'm like, Liz, where is wool in New Brunswick? Help a brother out. Like, I don't know where to find wool. And she pointed me to a farm that she knows that are hand spinners and friends. They did not have anything. They didn't have anything. And they weren't shearing until like November, which was way too late for me. But put a pin in that. I have it reserved. So if I do True North again, which I'm going to do True North again, that'll be anyway, spoiler. I'm locking down New Brunswick now because it was such a challenge to get wool from New Brunswick. I did get a whole other fleece, 2 fleeces that came in from New Brunswick. No. I mean, I was able to save some of it, but it wasn't what I wanted to put in the Advent. But I was able to save some. And then couldn't get it from these people who are actually like wool processors and no fiber. And then found, so thank you, Liz, for helping me. Oh, good morning. Hello. I'm just going to say good morning. Well, I'm saying good morning because it's morning to me. To France. Hello, Anna. Welcome here. Where was I just going? Also, fun moment. Let's pause while I'm talking about before I dive into where I got this wool. Where's everybody from? France just entered the chat. Now I'm curious. That just completely, Anna, you just started a thing. Now I want to know. Now I want to see. Come on, get it in there. Where's everybody from? Oh, it's evening in France. Good evening to you. Okay, we got a Calgary. Got a Southern California. Nice. Nova Scotia. Charlotte, North Carolina. Coquitlam. What up, neighbor? Delaware. North Carolina. Also Calgary. Montana. Olympia, Washington. Is she our only overseas in the chat today, this evening for her? Good morning for me. Good afternoon for East Coast. Thanks for doing that, guys. Oh, Squamish, Washington, Berkeley. I can't say that. Saugerties? New York? Did I say that right? Vancouver Island. Oh, I grew up on Vancouver Island. I love it. Southern Ontario. Okay. All right. Getting a feel for it. From Alaska, but currently in San Diego for school. Maryland. That's a big change, Alaska to San Diego. Fun. Thanks, guys. Okay. Just curious. All right. Where was I going? Okay, so the wool. So Liz definitely introduced me to a connection that is introduced me to a connection that will be useful for future True North. So thank you, Liz. But see, guys, this was my thing. Like, if you haven't already noticed, like the shopper in Manitoba and Simone heading out east to get me stuff from PEI, and I'm not even done telling stories about who else has helped me yet, but I have been remarkably helped in the True North journey. Long road to True North, but I had friends all along the way that helped trying to connect me, right? Like reach out to the person I knew there and who do you know there, and it was really kind of fun. So didn't work out this year for who Liz introduced me to, but I'm very excited to use it for next year. And instead, I found myself on Facebook where I have like a sleeper account where I just literally shop marketplace and I'm in some groups, and came across Connell Farms. So brand new idea to me, Connell Farms. And they had on their website that, so they are a butcher, but they had on their website that you can also buy raw wool. And I'm like, huh, really? What's that like? I'm buying blind here, right? So I reached out to Connell Farm. Wow, like friendliest people. I'm in these like messenger DMs, and she's like, hugs from like across the country, and yay, high fives. And I'm like, what the heck? Sending me pictures of the sheep. So when it arrived, I didn't know what I was getting. I had no idea what I was getting. She's like, yeah, totally. We have raw wool. Sure. I'll put some in a box and mail it to you. I'm like, okay. Like, I'm getting wool. Don't know what it is or anything about it, but it was this. It was these guys. So this is Young Gun and Mr. Black. I have a picture of Mr. Black. Right? We're all looking at it, right? Mr. Black is here. Young Gun, the picture is through a fence, so it's not as good. These are two rams from their flock, and I was curious, right? Like, she doesn't know what's in the breed. There's very, 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 very mixed breed. Okay, so we just called them on the back of the card. I just called it Mystery Mix Breed from Connell Farms in New Brunswick. Young Gun and Mr. Black. So we got Whiskers, Young Gun, and Mr. Black. And this day was a fun day to make because I knew I had a couple of darker fleece for True North. And I really wanted one to be like as pure black as I could get it. So taking Whiskers, who was the blackest alpaca I Sorry, I didn't put my phone on private again, and my daughter just called me. Next time I'll just ignore it. No, was there any interruption aside from me touching the screen that someone was calling me? I could have just ignored that and not declined the call. Okay, so putting all the black ones together was really fun to get like a true deep, like actual, like cold, midnighty. I love it. I love it with my whole entire heart. Young Gun and Mr. Black were interesting fleeces. So this one's from Mr. Black. The Young Gun staple isn't here. Young Gun was shot through with kind of like white hairs. Like there must have been some kind of a hair sheep vibe in him at some point, maybe some Dorper, some Katahdin, something like that. And you can see them in the bat. So those white ones there would have come from Young Gun. And then Mr. Black definitely was way more solid. They were, I wouldn't even begin to guess the breeds because they're just your mixed breed meat sheep, right? Literally meat sheep. And and so but the wool is like weirdly, I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this, okay? Because like I just told you the story, I kind of reached out to like a total unknown. I had no connection. And it was, I didn't have any relation to this. And I had already had a couple of failed attempts that just, I didn't want to put them in the Advent. I mean, I guess if it was what I had to maintain, to have a presence of New Brunswick in the Advent for their wool, I would have. But like I didn't, anyway, that's a whole other story. But when Connell Farms came through and sent me this box and I opened it up and I was like, wait, dang. Because it's a beautiful medium soft wool and obviously downy, right? Because we got meat sheep. The color is epic. And they were like what you would expect VM wise, I guess you could say, which I mean, black wool, you'd see all the VM, right? We're not really seeing much here. My guts people could maybe speak to this. Like, we got moments, see? My guts people could maybe speak to this, to what it's like, because there's going to be certain wools when you're pulling them apart in the guts clubs, the dust falls out. You get a lot of like the sandy, dusty VM, and some more than others, where they appear clean. Like visually, you're not seeing big grasses and sticks and whatever else. But then when you start to pull it open, you'll notice dirt and dust drops down. So, okay, Kaylee is just saying VM is pretty expected. Yep, VM is expected. And but I thought this was like nothing. I would love an unboxing video of you seeing and evaluating a new fleece for the first time. I should have done that with this advent. There was some stuff that showed up for True North where I was like freeze frame. And you know, fair. I really did get like 3 fleece from every province to pick the one I liked the most for the advent. You know, I was being picky, right? I'm allowed. So, okay. So with this one, man, I was so pleased. I didn't have any expectation, and wow, showed up. And not only that, but the Connell Farms folks were just absolutely lovely to work with. And you can totally message them and get raw wool. Oh, Danielle's saying I got to document my Wednesday inventory days. I know that's today, but guess what? I don't have any inventory to do today because I've been a good girl and I haven't bought anything new in a week for raw wool. Although there are 2 boxes of it waiting just in the P.O. box across the border. And my friend Kirkland Mel has a whole merino fleece. Okay, so this spin I have had, okay, Marie just said, surprisingly fun little weirdo spin. The staple length was kind of all over the place. There was some really short bits, and there were some more like, this was probably the longest that you had in the advent, kind of that, which is decent, right? Like, I think that's a pretty good staple length. Really curly and crimpy like you would expect from a down wool. Really, really boinky, but some were really short, like Southdown baby doll short, like short. And normally I would kind of remove that, and I didn't for this. I put the short with the long. We're going woolen. It's a down wool. This is probably one of the textures and types of wool where you can really do that. And I mean, what's it gonna do? It's a down wool. Like, it's just, and it's for woolen, for me, it's for woolen spinning, right? So I feel the yarn comes out with a lot of character on this one. It's great. It's so great. So that's what I did. Washing it, totally the usual. Wasn't particularly dirty. They're rams. They didn't have ram stink. I didn't smell ram on either one of these boys. And even though they were rams, I think I still only washed them the 3 times. I think that's it. What am I backpedaling? I'm backpedaling? What did I do? Oh, because I said I was a good girl, and yet I have all this fleece waiting for me with other people. It's not here yet, but I did buy it, if that's what you guys were talking about. Okay. So processing it, carding it, dream, easy. Picking it, I had to make some decisions because I was like, ooh, like, what's my move? Do I put that into the carder with everything? Do I separate it like I would? And I was like, I'm gonna put it in. And I just put it in. And it was the right move. This came together. We're looking good. Got some grip to it, drafts out real nice, but I think all those, like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at that. We love it. Okay, so there you have it, guys. We got there with New Brunswick and the Yukon. Whoa, I didn't consider that those were both like semi-stalker situations for me. Both of those were, because I would say the Yukon, I probably put the most effort into getting the alpaca in that for this advent, and this was the most effort I put into getting the wool. This is why I didn't talk about True North either for so long, because it wasn't all here. And I'm like, well, what if I can't actually get my New Brunswick wool? Then what? Then I don't have an advent. So I'm not talking about it until I zip. Okay, stalker blobs. Day 11, stalker day. And it's like so dark, like the mask that I wore as I stalked folks. I feel like I want to now make myself just my own little woolly mask. This is my wool stalker mask. That's what I wear when I stalk shepherds. I'm like, stop being busy and responsible and sell me your wool. Okay, so there you go. There's day 11, Yukon alpaca, New Brunswick wool, from henceforth known as the Stalker Day, where Melly pulled out all her tricks and called all her favors in and her friends, and we got there. And we love whiskers, and thank you, Sharon from Northern Spirit Farm, and we love Young Gun and Mr. Black. Thank you, Connell Farms. You guys were a pleasure. Pleasure, pleasure. Sharon, you're a pleasure. Everything was a pleasure. Now let's open Delightful. Delightful. Today we have a brand new and final fine wool. Final treasure. Final fine wool. Here we go. Robin, I'm in the back of the house. Sheep and goats all fed. Happy to be out. Oh, I'm back in the house. Hi, Robin. Welcome back in. Get warm. Okay, here we go. The final fine wool. What did she do, folks? What did she do? Let's open the wool first. Then I'm going to show you the treasure, okay? Oh, Jessica, I want to know everyone's guesses for tomorrow's exotic. If you've cheated, though, and you've looked, can't comment it here. So you'd be like, oh my gosh, I totally guessed it. You have to actually don't. If you know, you can guess. But if you know, don't. All right, here. But yeah, throw your guesses in. Or should we start tomorrow's live where we're going to open that day first with guesses? What do you guys think? We've had 2 weirdos. I could have done something super boring for day 12. Yeah, let's do it for day 12, Jess. Okay. Oh, Kaylee. Shh. Kaylee's peaked at day 13 for True North. Yeah. You have to. You have to do your epic opening videos. Here we go. Ready? I just unrobed it. Here's our wool for day 11 of Delightful. There's our lock. There it is. Oh, what'd she do? Guys, if you could only feel this wool, hot dang, okay? Oh, Victoria guessed the color for day 12. So this, Maria's hoping I did something super weird for day 12. We had a wallaby and a dog. Can I get... Okay, we love the color. So we're not getting through Delightful without incorporating a pure merino. We're not, right? We've had Bond, Polworth, Haunui, Canadian fine wool, Bond, Polworth, Haunui, Canadian fine wool, Cormo, okay? We had to go with a pure merino. We had to. And it had to be Steitzoff. We love Steitzoff. So guys, meet Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders is a, hear me here, 16 micron, 100% comfort factor merino lamb. And yes, I did pull out every trick in the book to process this. I just want to tell you. I just want to say. And it's good. Do you guys remember watching me do Dr. Pimple Popper on Instagram when I was x-raying and holding things up to the window, and I was like, so here's what you do, guys. You pick it out. This was the fleece. So here's why I had to do that. It's a lamb. It's because it's a lamb. And it's a fine wool lamb. So sometimes you can get lambs where this isn't an issue, sure. Or on fine wools, you know, that these would technically be like fleece people would buy and they would like comb, and then you're gonna spin like the thing that you want to be buried in. Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm a woolen. I'm a carder. Okay, I like my woolen prep. I like my chaotic disorganization. I feel like it makes the spin more approachable. I did save this one for last because this one is maybe more like prone to hurt your feelings. Look at me, just maybe more prone to hurt your feelings. But I think it's still going to be a really approachable spin. for folks, for a super fine merino. That's what we're gonna call this, a 16 micron merino. Holy smokes. The finest I've ever processed was 13 microns. I don't know that I wanna do that again. But this was actually really good to process. So Stites Merinos in Montana, absolutely stellar. I have processed probably 20 plus fleece from these guys, super gorgeous. And Colonel Sanders, when I saw Colonel Sanders fleece, I got 2 fleece in this round. So I've had a lot of fleece from them, but I bought one called Sweet Pea, real light dove gray. And then Colonel Sanders, I don't know how well he's pulling up here, but he's very like asphalt, like he's very cement. He's very much that color profile. And oh my goodness, wow, just touching him, it's stupid. It's stupid. There's nothing in this. It's just the wool, and it's so dumb. It's so dummy soft that I can't take it. But it did need some lamb care in that the tiny little ends of the tips that the fleece, the baby animal would have had in the womb, right? The animal comes out and starts growing the rest of its wool, and sometimes those tips can launch in the bat. Sometimes it's just the tax you pay to have a fleece this fine and this soft from a baby animal. And I paid it. I paid that tax because 100% worth it. So there you go. There you go. There is Colonel Sanders 16 micron. I have to just keep saying it. 16 and 100% comfort factor. Hot dang. You may still find a little moment of lamb tip, but I promise you, I x-rayed this whole fleece. This took me the longest to card of anything in Delightful by probably three times, because your carders are crawling. So let's talk about processing this. Washing this, not a problem. I would actually say that, like, not really a problem. I did 3 scours like I did for anything else. I treated it the same way. Like here, I'll be careful with, say, Cola the Cotswold. I'll be careful with, like, there's some fleece I talked to you guys about where, like, I'm very gentle and careful with it. But with this guy, I did pretty much my normal cat paws, massaging of the wool. Wasn't really afraid to move it around. I don't really find that merinos hate that in the tub. My usual tricks, right? My usual way of handling wool when it's hot and wet and you got to be careful. So I washed it, 3 scours, dried beautifully, washed beautifully. Picking it, I didn't pick this one. Who picked this one? Thursday Friend? Nelly? Someone else picked this fleece, but did a stellar job. Like, and again, because it's from Stites, it's like expertly skirted, and because it's a merino and it comes from a super good pure bloodline, it's very uniform. So you don't have to pull out any tricks. Like, say I had to pull out some tricks, say with Young Gun and Mr. Black, right? And really make decisions. You don't really make decisions when you pick this. You just grab a handful and you pick it, right? Like, what's there is perfect. You're not buying, when you buy premium fleece like this, coated stuff from like award-winning shepherds. That's what Stites is. Every lock is good. You're never, especially when you purchase by the pound, that's really important. And especially when the price per pound is high, okay? Like when you're paying a higher rate for the quality of the thing that you're getting, every lock has to be good, and they deliver. I have never had a bad fleece from Stites ever. And I've washed a lot of their wool. So there you have it. And I thought losses were interesting on this one. I did weigh the individual loss on the fleece, and I think after scouring, the loss was something insane. It was like barely 20% out of the tubs, which is really, really good. Because a lot of the times, like I have had fleece, fine wool fleece, where not many, okay, I can think of like 2 off the top of my head that needed additional scours, and I ended up losing like 50% in the tub. One was 53. I'll never forget that fleece. 53% loss on weight before and after the tub. That was just the grease. It was insane. The fact that this one came out 20% was nutty, but that's not totally unusual for me with Stites. I've had 18s from Rupert's, who was our Cormo in Delightful, and I've had that low too from Stites. So something to consider if you're ever thinking of buying like a really pricey fleece, okay? So I don't know what really pricey is to you, but if we're starting to get up to like $40 USD a pound and shipping, to me, that's really pricey, because by the time it gets to me here in Canada and I pay the exchange rate and I pay to get it into the country and I pay all that shipping, we're talking like 80 bucks a pound for wool. I want it to not lose too much in the tub, and I want it to be extremely well skirted. And that's what these kind of, this quality of producer does. And so, like, dang though, can we just say, can we just talk? Can we just, boop. Okay, we love it. We love it. So processing it, not a big deal. Carding it, oh gosh, like keep as slow as possible. Card it as slow as possible. Take your time. Just crawl. This carder was at 10. 10. Like we move up in 10 increments, right? 0 to 100, but it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, you know what I mean? 10, we're at 10. You go slow. And my little homies, we were not much higher than that. Like this was a crawl, which worked fine because I was pimple popping anyway. So there you have it, okay? Oh, by the way, we called this day Finger Lickin' Good because, well, but also Colonel Sanders, you know, KFC, Finger Lickin' Good, no? Anybody? Bueller? So that's what we ended up calling it. Colonel Sanders, Merino Lamb, insane stats. So there you have it. Let's look at the lock. Look at the tiny cute little baby lamb. Look, guys. Woo! I'm at 41 minutes. I haven't done the try. I gotta hustle. How we doing? How's everyone doing? This has been a very chatty live. Okay. So isn't that the most gorgeous? Let's do boink. I wouldn't say he's boinky. I mean, he's got body, but he's not bouncing like Mr. Black was doing over there, right? He's just got this, he's a gentle soul. We love the Colonel. We love Colonel Sanders. Okay, today's treasure. This is the final treasure of Delightful. And it's the one, I'm gonna just be straight up about it. It's the one I'm the most excited about. It's stunning to me. I think that it is perfection and I love it. Here's what we have. Okay, here's what's special about this ornament that was made by Cute Lil Neice, handmade. So same Cute Lil Neice that stitched the bags in Delightful last year and she put all the evergreens on the outside of the totes. This year we switched her up because I got my totes from Icky Icky, right, with the art on them. So this is an all wool ornament. Okay, not that, but this ornament can go right back to the earth. It is merino wool, that's what the felt is, and on the inside is hand-washed wool that I washed, that's Canadian, hand-washed wool, and then she stitched it with glass beads. So they're not plastic beads, they're glass beads, and she made me 32 of these, and they're all a little different. There might be some that are close to this, but they're all a little different. Guys, the hours that this girl put into making these. So my niece she's old, Cute Lil Neice, but she's like in university becoming an accountant, okay? Like she's doing the thing. She's not little, but she's gonna be little to me forever because she's my cute little baby niece. The hours that it took her to make these. So I gave her a wad of washed wool and I sourced this merino felt. We bought the glass beads and then she just went to town and she cut and hand sewed and stuffed and embroidered with the beadery on all of these. Absolutely precious. So I find that really special because, you know, you just don't see too many handmade ornaments out there. My tree's covered in them, popsicle sticks and ceramics my kids painted way back in the day. But like most of these things are plasticky and mass produced, and that's not Delightful. That's not what we do. Back to the earth. And I love that none of us are gonna put this back to the earth, but like you could. I think there's something important about that. I think there's something important about it lasting. And I love that it's handmade, like through and through. That just thrills me. I absolutely love it. And I'm really excited I got to open this day now because I can go stick this on my tree because I'm keeping this crap forever. I'm keeping this forever. So fun idea. Now, for any of you out there who are crafty little suckers and you want to try something like this, there's template for this. Pearl Soho. That's what I ended up buying. Pearl Soho has kits. We didn't get the kit, but you can buy like the pattern for cutting out the shapes. We never worked with felt before, and the felt itself, the merino felt, pretty expensive, and so I didn't want to screw that up. So I needed to know how much to order because I didn't want to get more than I needed when it's like pricey. But anyway, so we got her the templates from Pearl Soho just to, know how many ornaments you can get per sheet. It's what everyone's curious. It was I don't know, it was like $10 American or something for the templates. Anyway, that's what she used. And then she went to town just sewing these up and stuffing them and embroidering them. And I just think this to me is treasure. This to me is heckin' treasure. That's what this is. So when I talk about putting treasures in the Advents, I love them all. I love that we've been able to open lip balms and soaps and handmade Bernard Calbo hot chocolate mixes, and like we've had some really beautiful things, hand painted art, and then to end delightful with a all wool and glass handmade ornament. I love it. The treasures take up a lot of my time and they're so much fun to buy. So there you go. There's our last treasure, guys, for delightful. So where are we now? Okay, let's look at our friends together because I love to do that. Here's day 11 from both Advents. The Mega Mutt, like kind of Hail Mary, last minute, crossing my fingers. If this is good, I get to have an Advent fleece. That is stunning and beautiful, and I loved working with it. Next to the I know it, I love it, I've worked with them before, premium, you're not gonna have issues, fleece from Steitzoff, we love it, loved working with it. There's our day 11 together. I mean, I feel like every time I hold this one, I feel like it's a Fritz Bernays. I mean, it's a Fritz Bernays. Like if you know that reference, it's a Fritz Bernays. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to see our last delightful fleece will be tomorrow, where I blended our dear Colonel Sanders with something. What does one blend with 16 micron, 100% comfort factor merino? We're gonna find out tomorrow. We definitely know it's not what we've seen so far. It's not gonna be a goat, it's not gonna be a camelid, it's not gonna be silk or a dog. What did Melly blend it with? In case you haven't noticed, I don't repeat camelids or marsupials in the Advent. If we get one marsupial, that's the only marsupial. This is about range, okay? So we're gonna find out tomorrow what I blended this with. But for now, we're gonna say goodbye to the treasures for Delightful. We have opened them, we have loved them, and we're gonna move on. Thank you, Cute Lil Neice, for making these stunning, stunning, stunning. Now, guess tomorrow, all of you. They're saying moose and kiviot. I mean, it's fair. It could be kiviot. I haven't done a giant land animal yet. And then tomorrow we're going to hit Northwest Territories alpaca for our alpaca day and see what will we put that one with. Otherwise, guys, I'm going to go. Thank you for staying with me so long this morning. Almost an hour is our longest one. But I just felt so chatty, and I think I'm holding on. Capybara, cotton. Look at you guys guessing. Save it for the morning. Also, what's the day that I asked everyone to comment their pattern ideas on? What was that day? Danielle, what was that day? I know Danielle because she said she got lectured into doing it. You guys got to go comment your pattern ideas on that day. Like 2 of you have, or 3 of you. I need more. And day 10. Thank you, Kaylee. Day 8? Day 9? What the heck? You just gave me 3. You can't do this to me. I'm squirrel. Day 8. Okay. Day 8. It's day 8. Go over there. If you guys have ideas of what you're going to do, go over there. I love you all. This has been super fun. Tomorrow will end delightful. And I'm going to go. I have to stop. I have to let you go. I have to let you go. Have to let you go. Okay, bye. See you in the morning.